Final Fantasy. Alright. So, one thing is, typically, I do enjoy using super speed, like that, and it does save me a lot of time. But specifically because I'm trying to showcase my cool new sprites, and I do have a few of them cycling on the side for you, I'm just going to play it at normal speed as much as I can, with the music on. And let's see who we got for our first random character run. Well, that's certainly not what I was hoping for. Maybe I'll randomize that again. Sorry, but 3 white mages. I'm trying to show off the sprites. Man, that's a bad 4 party. A thief is real bad early game, and white mages aren't much better. That's probably one of the worst random party compositions I've ever seen. So let's try this again. New seed, randomize again. Sorry, I didn't expect to actually get a 3 white mage seed. Usually you may get 1 duplicate, but you rarely get more than a single dupe. Alright, let's rename this something sensible like Final Fantasy 1 Rando LP better. Be better. Alright. This time for sure, guys. Alright, here we go. Round 2. We get 2 black belts and a null? What is going on? I didn't want nulls. I thought I had... Okay, so this is a misunderstanding on how the party shuffler works. You know what? I've changed my mind. This is taking too long. We're not going to have a forced party. I'm going to pick interesting characters and we'll just roll with it. I was thinking that I would just stick with whatever they randomized, but this is taking too long and I'm not super happy with my first 2 rolls, so if you're not happy, just re-roll. It's easy. Rando, LP, no forced. Alright. It's always the third time. Third time's the charm. That's the Disney rule. Rando... Where did I put it? Man, I've got too many rando files now. LP, no forced. Okay. Alright, so. New game. So, this time we can just change our party. We couldn't change them before because it was forced. That was the problem. So, I want to show off 1 fighter at the very least. And we will call him... I mean, I could take care... like... you know, viewer names and stuff, but I wasn't prepared because I just sort of decided to start recording this randomly one afternoon after finishing all my sprite edits. So I want at least a fighter. I definitely want to bring a black mage because I really like Rydia's sprite. What else do I want to show off? I find the black belts are kind of boring. Like, they're good, don't get me wrong. But because they can't equip anything, they're kind of one of the more boring classes. Red mages are pretty interesting. I don't know how the red wizard sprite's gonna look yet. I haven't tested that out. Do I want white mage? White mages are... Okay, what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring a fighter, a thief. What am I gonna call my thief? Thief is gonna be... well, what I tend to call him, because if you've noticed, and you can hopefully pick up what my sprites look like, I did use the Edward thief for... the Edward sprite for thief, because... clearly, the most useless Final Fantasy 4 character should be the most useless Final Fantasy 1 character. You'll have to guess what all the promotion classes look like, because we haven't gotten there yet. But yeah, I think we'll go fighter, thief, and then either red-black or white-black. And honestly, in a randomizer, I think red mages are often the better choice over white mages. Although there is some luck involved. So we're gonna hope that our red mage... Well, no, we've got a black mage for nuke. Red mage, what do we want? Well, because we're using Tella, at the very least, we can't really fit a whole thing in. Maybe if I go like this. Now, you can guess what spell I want him to learn. And, yeah, I mean, I like my Porum sprite, but I really like my Rydia sprite. It's my favorite one, probably. So, she will hopefully learn a nuke nice and early to make this a quick... I don't really want a level 1 nuke, to be honest. Level 1 nuke makes things go too quickly. But, hopefully we pick it up at, like, level 3 or 4 or something. Alright, let's get started, guys. So whenever you're playing a randomizer race with spellcasters, if you have spellcasters, you always, and, you know, if you're assuming you're shuffling, you always want to check your magic shops. So, Heal 2 is a nice start. Oh, also, we shuffled the music, so this might be sort of annoying. I hadn't really tested it out much. We're not getting shop music. We're getting prologue or title screen music. So that's kind of weird. It'll feel strange. Anyway, Heal 2 is good. Wall is actually a really good spell too. If you don't have guaranteed ribbons, walls, you have to cast them, but they do allow you to cast essentially a ribbon. Assuming you can learn that. I'm really hoping that this is not a slot that is limited to white mages. I think this is the slot. Because our knight eventually will be able to cast wall as well as Tella. So 2 people with wall would cover our ribbon shortage if we have that problem. And then in black mage, well, this is a decent opener. None of these are super overpowered, but at least having 1 level 2 spell will make the early game pretty easy. And Zap is a very powerful death spell. In fact, it's probably unarguably the best level 1, or not level 1, probably the best instant death spell, because it targets all enemies relatively well. It's time elemental, which basically nothing is immune to, whereas Quake is earth, which means lots of things are immune to it. So yeah, definitely for Rydia, we'll pick those up. I don't see the point of having Zap and Quake on the same slot. What do we want Tella to have? We kind of focus... We're probably going to go Ice 2, Heal 2, Wall. And I guess I'll learn them in that order, just so it's easier to cast Ice 2. This is going to be the spell we cast the most, especially early game, so we'll get that out of the way. Having the ability to do some healing is probably... It's the 4th slot he can't learn. Oh well, that's fine. Oh, it's 2nd and 4. Well, that sucks. So I bet you the 2nd slot was... I don't know. He might learn one of those when he promotes, if we promote. That's too bad. Anyway, I'm sure some of you guys were yelling at me that you know that 2nd and 4th slot are bad. I just didn't want to buy it unless we had, you know, Nuke and stuff on level 1 black. Alright, so then you generally want to check out your weapons, and like I said, I have found really good luck with the randomizer weapons. This guarantees that our fighter, assuming we promote him, is good, and this is cheap. Like, that's a cheap sword. This is the best red wizard's weapon, not counting Mazimune. I'm pretty sure ninjas can use it, so it's good for ninjas, good for red wiz, great for knights. This one, the fighter can, like, if I can buy this, the fighter can use that unpromoted, right? Maybe even the red mage? I forget. Anyway, this is a great selection, and technically the thief can even use the wear sword, I think. And then for armor, well, nothing's so hot. We will buy some armor, though. Wooden armor is, you know, not great, but I'm not trying to do a speed run here, so it's cool. Also, the fact that we can buy a Heal 2 shirt, which could either be the white or black shirt, it might be a good shirt for Rydia if she promotes, but a good armor. Although there's no guarantee, like it might be the white shirt, which is less helpful for her. Anyway, what I was trying to say was having access to Heal 2 as a in-battle item, that's pretty good. Like, at least it makes up for us not being able to buy Heal 2 early on. One of the other best things about these randomizer mods is buy 10. Now, unfortunately, there's no save items. There's no tents or cabins here, which certainly makes things a little bit more difficult for the beginning of your rando run. It should be fine, but, you know, a little bit harder. Also, in case you're wondering, we do automatically move at double speed if you hold the B button. This is what normal walking is. And there are a ton of speed hacks. Like, it's hard to go over them all. Overworld town theme. That's great. Anyway, there are a ton of things that make the game play faster. So you can see the different battlefield layout here. That was the mod for the battlefield. That's what removes some of the white bars around everyone. And of course you get to see my awesome character animations, my custom sprites. What else was I gonna say? So yeah, the speed ups. I mean, I still prefer playing it on frame skip mode of some sort, at least double or triple speed, just to, well, especially, remember, I reduced the encounter rate, so grinding does take longer if that's something you want to do. Why didn't I cast Ice 2? Because I'm blabber jabbering with you guys, I'm not paying as much attention. Anyway, looks like you can punch imps to death. They must not have particularly high HP or defense. Sometimes, and I have definitely seen it, sometimes imps roll a lucky spell or skill, and you can't grind off them at all, so... I think we'll go for one more level up, just for safety, and then we'll go kill Garland. Unless the imps kill us right here, which would be very sad. But they seem to be pretty weak, so I wasn't too worried. The reason I'm getting more levels up than I might normally go is we don't have any way to save. So we're going to have to walk up to Garland's castle without any saves on the way. And if there's something really dangerous in there, we're just going to die. So an extra level up will give us some more HP, and that'll take the edge off. It would be nice... How far away are we from buying a weapon? It'd be nice to have one good weapon, or at least one weapon at all. Yeah, that'll do. So we're gonna go from, 11 damage per one hit to 29 damage in 2 hits. That's a huge upgrade for our fighter. So that should be enough to kill Garland without any real problem. I mean, Ice 2 would do it. It's like, I probably didn't need to waste that money, but whatever. Maybe he'll have some wall spell that makes him immune to ice. Wow. How many charges do we have? Quite a few. We can wipe out some imps on the way. If you're a speedrunner, after you get your first couple imp battles, I'm sure you just run away from them all, but I think we've got enough charges of AoE magic that you don't have to worry. Now, one thing I have learned, I don't do, but I have learned that it exists, is you're going to learn a lot of things during this Let's Play about things that I've learned but don't actually do. There are quite a few tiles on the overworld. I knew about some of them, but there are quite a few tiles where you actually don't progress your step counter, so that you don't get random battles. I forget all of them, but certain half-sea, half-land tiles, and it's usually like the weird transition tiles. So you can make a path around the world where less of the tiles you walk on have the potential to get you into trouble. Now, there's 2 chests on the left, or 3 chests on the left we could get, but we didn't save it. So I'm just gonna go kill Garland. This shouldn't be a big problem. Maybe we'll even try to zap him for fun. We got him. Exiled to the 4th dimension. It's a pretty good spell. Now, one of the downsides is we no longer get teleported back to Corderia Castle when we save the princess. So if I had a save item, I would have saved there, gotten the 3 treasure chests, and then resaved and fought Garland, probably. Instead, we're going to just do a quick trip. Hopefully what we get is a really good key item out of the princess or the king, and that makes me happy. I don't know what we could get exactly, but even the ship would be a nice start for this. Hopefully we don't get something garbage. We're not actually blocked yet. Like, we can walk over to the dwarf cave and then down to, like, there's an overland route all the way down to Elfland if that's what we want to do. So we don't need a progression item. The canal sort of makes me think we're going to find a ship. Or not. Anyway, we've got 2 progression items. The canoe lets us get around. The canoe's a good one. I'm happy with that. That opens up basically the entire... I mean, I can open this up for you guys. Can I? So, the rarely seen map. The canoe essentially gives us everything on the southeast. Not the west half with Melmond and... not half, but the west section. Southwest is blocked off, but all the southeast is open. And if we ever get the ship, the canal lets us go basically anywhere. So, what am I gonna do? We can go to the Dwarf Cave to get 3 chests. We can go back to Temple of Fiends Revisited to get 3 chests. We can walk all the way down to Elfland to find another town, but it could be anything. It might not be a good town. Could be, the Lupa Lupa town, Elfie. No, I forget the name of the dang town. Honestly, saving up 6 grand would probably be pretty nice for bosses. I guess what I should just do is spend some money on heal potions so we can travel further. Because we don't have the real problem, the reason I'm, like, not rushing off right now, is we don't have access to any way to save on the overworld, and that makes this walk kind of suck. And technically, the progression item could be in Matoya's cave, which would mean we'd have to walk... Now that we have the canoe, we can go all the way to Matoya's cave without using a bridge. But that will take quite a walk, and without saving, could be nearly impossible. Hopefully, Elfland is not a garbage town, and it actually has some good stuff in it. But first, we're going to check some treasure chests, so that maybe we get some magic item, or... I don't know. I don't know what I would want, exactly. But we got a good long run. thanks to... Oh, unrunnable bones. That's actually probably good, because these guys are not going to be a big problem long term. I think skeletons are strong to ice, but they also have no HP, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's the kind of enemy getting unrunnable. There's only so many unrunnable spots, and getting them on really weak early game enemies that you'll never see again, that's probably a little bit lucky. Zombies sometimes hit harder than you'd think, so you want to be a little bit careful. One of the cool things the randomizer does is the Wear Sword does actually get its bonus damage and accuracy against certain enemies, like, well, there's not a whole lot of them, but man-cats, cat-mans, and a few other things. So, at least it has some value. In the original game, it was bugged and that didn't work. That's not bad, I guess. Wasn't the best haul, but at least we get our front row characters' armor up a little bit. I wouldn't... I might have resettled that if I'd been able to save, but we're going to keep the experience and we're going to keep the money anyway. Yeah, ice is probably not the right spell for undead encounters, but against early ones it doesn't matter too much. Ghouls. Now these guys used to have stun touch, now they're just dead. But yeah, those guys sometimes can be a little bit scary in the original game, especially on a solo challenge. Grups is very grumpy. Now, to be fair, any of these new encounters could have something like Nuke and just destroy us. So every random encounter we take here is a risk that we lose progression, which is the scary part of not having any, you know, tents or anything. I should probably stop fighting these guys. We're going to start running away pretty quick, don't worry. So now that you've seen a little bit, let's ask everyone to go leave some comments. No, you know, smash that like button and subscribe. But no, seriously, if you do like my character animations, please let me know, because I put a lot of work into them. And if you have any suggestions, like if you're a budding sprite artist yourself and you think I could make the animations look a little smoother, or if you actually understand how Final Fantasy works, feel free to let me know, because I'm working on it. What am I buying? I've got 80 heals, 10 pures. That's enough for now. I guess there's not else. Other than saving up a bunch of money and buying a Sun Sword, there's not much else we can do here. But yeah, I am sort of looking for feedback, and I'm mostly just trying to showcase stuff. Hopefully you're all as hyped as I am. I think they look really good. Now, I know some of them I didn't line up perfectly. I think Rydia's one. So if you look at her walking animation, she sort of bounces a little bit. Yeah, upwards. So I think I didn't position... I didn't quite... vertically or horizontally align the position, the upwards walk correctly. So she sort of bounces left and right a little bit because it's not quite lined up. So there's a couple little tweaks I need to make, but overall I think it works pretty well. Alright, we got one saving item. Well, that's something. Anyway, let's move her down, back to safety. Let's show off Tella's sprite for a little while, just, you know, because I got him. Hey, we got the same music twice in a row. There's nothing else in the Dwarf Cave until we have the TNT, the Mystic Key, or the Adamant. You know what? I'm going to use that save right now, so we don't have to watch that opening cutscene ever again. There's nothing we can do here without the entrance shuffler. So we do have access to Marsh Cave. We have First Strike, which means we can run away automatically. One thing that the randomizer does do, which is cool, is the formulas, or I guess it's a formula, the mechanics for running away from combat are fixed. So thieves with specifically good agility and luck actually are good at running now. Well, this isn't even randomized. Psh, what kind of game is this? Oh, that's nice. Fire 2 axes. We could buy one of those. That's pretty good. Anti-fire staff, not that great. This is nice. It's not a nuke or a fade or a cure 4, but it replaces the mage staff, which was fire 2 already. It's something that already existed. We just get access to it really early. I like that kind of randomization. It's not super overpowered. What else we got? Got a little bit of defense for our mages. This is probably the Zeus glove or the power glove. That's not that important. Sabre Hat, probably the heal helmet. That's one of the higher defense helmets if you don't have a ribbon. And Sabre's pretty good. It is another one that's been fixed. It didn't work in the vanilla game, but it does give your fighter more damage. Pro capes are really cool that we can buy them. There used to be 2 in the entire game, I think. Maybe 3, 2 or 3. And this means Rydia specifically will have better defense than average. Also, cheap steel armor. Nothing we can afford right now other than... yeah. This gives you just 4 defense. I'm actually going to buy one for Tella as well. Technically, it's the same amount of absorb as wooden armor, but, you know, just in case you're wondering. 4 absorption is -4 damage per hit. 54% evasion is something like 50%. Well, it's actually not that high. It's more like 54 out of 255, so 1 in 5 sort of thing. Anyway, switching that over does up the evade significantly enough. Enough that I figure it's worth wasting our time, basically. I'm not going to worry about keeping the thief alive right now. Until the thief has something useful, I don't really care if he dies. Right now, he doesn't contribute anything to the fight, so he's just there to run away. So, more importantly, magic. This is a really good town to find for Mage Party. So, we're looking at... what do we want for black magic? Oh, that's really good. I have had really bad luck finding warps and exit spells in my random runs lately. Like, I think the last 5 or 6 that I've done have been like level 8 warp and exit. Or I didn't have a black mage at all, and it landed in a slot the red wizard couldn't learn. This will save us a ton of time. So we definitely want that. We definitely want Ice 3. Give us a little bit of... like, that's the best elemental damage spell. 3rd best damage spell in the game after Nuke and Fade, I suppose. Warp for sure. And... maybe Temper, but doesn't really matter right now. The fact that we can buy Sun Swords means we could make a... assuming we can find the fast spell, we could definitely do a melee build eventually. Now, for white magic, we're looking at... ooh. So, choosing the red mage may have been a mistake on this seed. That sucks. Cure 4, full healing, and in combat restores poison and stone, so it's really good. And level 3 means you get lots of slots, assuming you can cast it. So, I don't care about Harm 3. Harm only does damage, just like Undead only. X4 is a very, very small % chance to remove enemies' elemental or status protections, but it's almost never worth it, even though it's a level 8 spell traditionally. I can't really justify buying Cure 3 on the same spell slot as Cure 4, but, I mean, it might be the only Cure spell we get. We'll pick up Ice 3 at least, so we've got more charges of big spells. I'll probably end up going Ice 3, Warp, and Cure 4, assuming he can learn it as promotion. But, I don't know. Now, there's still a couple more things to do. Elfland's like, this is the town that probably takes the longest to finish up, because there's 4 magic shops. And they're kind of spread around the town. It's definitely one of the slowest towns. I do need to be checking these. Now, we got cabins, which also, by the way, I really need some of those. That's great. So that gets us saving on the overworld. Houses are nice because we've got a magic party, so more spell charges. Houses maximize your spell slots rather than cabins and tents, which do not. I should at least buy... no, I've already got pure potions. We just need a few pure potions. If you get poisoned and you don't have a pure potion, it sucks. So it's nice to have at least a couple of those. Level 4 magic. Level 4 nuke. That's pretty cool. It's going to be a while before Tella can cast it, but... definitely outshines Fire 2, and that gives him some value. Level 4 nuke is about where I would like to see it on most random runs. Not too overpowered, but early enough that you get some good value. And then white magic is, again, Medio. You know, level 4 life isn't the worst. Competing with nuke kind of sucks, but at least it gives you an option. So we have, like, the knight won't be able to learn it, but at least we might have one character that can resurrect someone in the middle of a long dungeon. Otherwise, these are all fairly trash, so... anyway, let's get out of here. Castles are not shuffled, so... well, actually, there's one thing to do while we're at Elfland. It's a good idea to check who the extra character is there. So it could be any of those 3, Dr. Un, the normal physician or Bahamut. Now we know where to get promoted. So let's, I should probably get a couple levels up. Basically, we could go to the Marsh Cave at this point, or we can go Marsh Cave, Volcano, Ice Cave, Crescent Lake, Provoca, Matoya. So generally you want to visit the towns first because Marsh Cave's the easiest, but I'd like to avoid it as long as possible. Volcano and Ice Cave would probably kill us. This might be worth fighting just for the experience. I should put the fighter back on the top slot though. Yeah, we'll be fine. Ice 2 should do good damage against wolves. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I figure we probably want to get to like level 10 or 11 before we go too much further here. Let's order people up a little bit smarter. Okay. In case you're wondering, the top character slot takes 50% of enemies' attacks. This is going to be a tougher fight. Boy. Yeah, I wish I'd bought that Fire 2 axe or staff or whatever. I think the troll might be strong against ice. We're going to try for a zap, actually. We're not winning this with physical damage, that's for sure. Ice 3 was okay. Ooh boy, we're going down. Zap, not very effective. We probably are about to die. Let's just try to do damage, seeing as Zap failed me. If Zap had killed even one, I would have tried it again, but... Okay, change of plan, we should just double Ice 3'd. So unfortunately, being in the top spot takes 50% of the attacks. Sorry, Massa. Anyway, everybody else gets some experience. If I had that life spell, would be good, but we don't. So I will use a save item. What I also will do here is, by having the thief in the top slot, it's more likely we'll get a first strike. And we need to run anyway at this point, so... We're not fighting these battles anymore. Because we need our fighter to tank. And I don't have enough spell slots, or I don't have any more charges to use some more Ice 3, basically. So we could be putting down a bunch of cabins here to make this safer, but with the lower enemy encounters, I felt like I could trust it. So welcome to Gaia in, oh, we can buy some Oh, given the prices, might as well just buy cabins, because tents heal half as much or a third as much as a cabin. Anyway, let's get our fighter back. 1 death to the death counter. Alright, now this town sucks. This town's almost as bad as finding Leafian, because it's got high-level magic that you can't do anything with, spells that we probably won't ever learn, white spells that we almost certainly will... see, look! I don't think... Chances are we're not going to learn Exit again. So at least we have Warp. That's as lucky as I can get. Now, there's a dungeon attached here, but we need the Oxyel to get into it. Right, but I need to go to the inn. It'd be nice to have a couple houses, but, Anyway, we knocked out another, a town location. This is definitely not the one I was hoping for. I'm hoping for actually Provoca, because as a incentivized item that's easy, and, we're gonna take that long hike up to Provoca, because I don't want to do any of the big dungeons just yet. No, let's do a soft reset here. I should map this to a key, but yeah. We're gonna have a bit of a hard time getting through here. So we're gonna use some saves. Now, I would expect that melee here is probably not a great call, because Hydras will have a fair bit of defense and HP, and I only have a Were Sword. It's not particularly strong. If I had saved up and bought that Sun Sword, probably would be strong enough to kill those. But we're just trying to get to another town, so let's not worry about level grinding just yet. If we can't find any easy progression before we have to go into a cave, we'll probably start with the top floor of the volcano and then go to the ice cave after... Oops, I went the wrong way. I'm just going to the ice cave. I was talking about the ice cave and just start going there. You know, Caraibes aren't hitting very hard. I think we're going to take this fight for experience. I'm not sure if they resist ice, though. And I don't have any other elements yet. Definitely do not resist ice. If you resist an element, you take, I believe, 50% base damage. Plus, you have a much higher chance to get your resistance effect to trigger, which reduces it in half again. So, a spell that normally does... Well, I forget the exact numbers, but... Oh, why am I attacking? I'm just lathering on here. I should just keep my people alive. Anyway, the Karaib fight was good because it was fairly easy. We got some experience. And we got to talk about whether or not fish are strong against ice. That's the main takeaway. Are fish good against freezing? To be fair, if you're going to give them any immunities, it should probably be to fire, because fire doesn't work so well underwater, from what I hear.